Hello, everybody. My name is Paolo, and I'm about to deliver probably the most boring presentation that you have seen so far. And not necessarily because I'm a boring person, but because the subject I'm about to talk about is considered commonly one of the most boring subjects. And because I'm about to talk about insurance, and I can see the excitement on your faces. So let's get started. It works. Back. Okay. Now, you all know about insurance. One way or another, you were all forced, probably not by choice, but by necessity, to buy an insurance policies. So the insurance is a big industry. It's one of the main industries in the world. Drives a lot of money, but it has a fundamental problem, and the problem is trust. You know this lady, right? I'm sure you all know her. She's Vivian, probably the most famous prostitute of all times. We've always seen her trying to get in the bed with Richard Gere, and somehow during the movie, we all have been thinking what's going to happen. Is she going to steal the money of Richard Gere, or is she going to be a good girl? It ended up being a good girl, but we really didn't know because, you know, she was a hooker on the street. This is your typical insurance agent. Very nice, clean, shaved, elegant. I mean, the image of trust. Now, if I ask you, who do you choose to give your lifetime savings? Would you give them to Vivian, or you will give them to the insurance agent? You. Okay, you. Okay, now, according to a recent research of the Australian Reader's Digest, out of 50 most trusted professions in the world, insurance agents score number 48 out of 50. While the colleague of Vivian, the sex worker, scored better, 46. Now, you'll be asking me, so what about the bankers? The bankers are doing slightly better, 35 out of 50. Lawyers, 39. Not as good as the bankers, but not as bad as insurance agents. Now, lawyers in the audience, don't be too excited. Now, I'm glad to see the politicians are not in the room anymore, because politicians score even worse than insurance agents. It's 49 out of 50. And for the journalists here, you guys also don't score much better, because it's 43 out of 50. Now, what does it mean? That means that the industry has a major issue to overcome. You know, we need to regain the trust of the people, and to make sure that the people see the insurance as a really support in their life and not stealing their money. So what are the reasons for this situation? First, the processes of writing an insurance policies and dealing with an insurance company are very complicated and inefficient. So you probably, or most of you who have an insurance policy, have seen how many pieces of paper you need to sign, to read, and you don't read. It's, the process is not easy, and it's cumbersome. Insurance is by definition, they rely on old statistical model. In order to insure your risk, they price it on what happened in the past, based on some events which happened to a group of people during a number of years, and the older is the serious, the better it is. 3 is lack of transparency in the communications. Very often, policyholders do not understand what the company does. They do not understand why they're treated in the same way, in a certain way. Last, there is an overall perceived of a conflict of interest. If you ask the common people, they will say, insurance companies, big thieves. They're just there to screw the people. They get the money when you sign the policy, and they never pay when you have when you have a claim. So what is needed in general? First of all, we need to automate the processes, and I'm coming closer to the theme of this conference. Now, fortunately, there is a new European directive, the IDD, which impose somehow automated processes to identify the clients, KYC, to make sure that they don't launder money, but also to make sure that they are sold the right investment products, so that we don't sell investment in China to a pensioner of 80 years old. So this is very good, and it's helping very much the industry to get more efficient and to get more appropriate for each individual customer. Second, we have to base our valuation less on statistical historical data and more on real-time data feeding. So we need to understand what people do. I mean, how they live, if their life is risky, if their life is not risky. So it's very important that the insurance companies understand what's a real-time risk and not what was the risk based on historical figure. 3, we need to be constantly connected. If we want to become really the support and we want to make life of our policyholders easier, we need to be there when we need us. Artificial intelligence is very helpful in this respect. Chatbot are beginning to play a major role. With a chatbot, you can have somebody answering a chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But not only that, the chatbots are learning. So the more the customer interact with the insurance company, the more we know about him and the better answers we can give. Fourth is help to improve the quality of life. This is eventually what insurance is about. We need to make life of our clients easier. If we make it more difficult because we give them additional problems, we're not solving the issues, so in the long term, it's not going to work. So how can artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and blockchain change the industry? Let's see what was happening before and what's happening today, what should happen today. So, as I said, before the policies and prices were based on statistical model. Now, thanks to the robo-advisory and the Internet of Things sensors, we can determine personalized coverage and prices. I'll give you an example. If you want to insure your house for damages or against fires or flooding, if we as an insurance company can install in your house a sensor for the gas, for instance, or for the water, or for the fire, we may have a situation whereas if there is some gas leakage, the insurance company immediately get the reports. We can call the policyholders. The policyholders is traveling in New York. We can say, don't worry. I mean, through our automated process, we can enter your apartment. We're selling the plumber, and we can fix the gas leakage. This is actually an example to tell you that the insurance company can do much better than pay for damages after the damages occurred. We can anticipate the damages. We can help people to have a safer and easier life. The same is with life insurance and savings. We can follow the day by day and the needs of the people according to their age and according to the lifestyle. Kids who are not really into pensions or retirements, but maybe they need more coverage for health because they're climbing on mountains, or maybe they need some other support for their educations. They need to have their own personalized policies and coverage, which is of course very different to the one that someone my age or 70-year-olds may need. Before we provide the standard solution, so as I said, if you go to an insurance company, policies that they will be offering are pretty much the same. Whether you are Maltese, you are Italian, you are young, you are old, maybe there is a slight difference if you are a smoker and you are not a smoker, but not much more. So it's, the offer is very standardized. Now what we want to do is to be able to offer on-demand insurance. You want to be able to fly to New York and buy a health insurance policy the moment you touch ground in JFK, and you need the policy only for those 2 days. So if you decide to stay extra 3 days, I don't even have to tell my insurance because automatically my insurance will know that I'm staying 3 days longer in New York and my policy needs to be extended. I would like to get to a point that if I'm booking a flight and I know that I may be running late, I can get an insurance if I lose my flights and my tickets can be refunded. So there is a lot that the insurance company can do if we are helped with the modern technology and if there is a sufficiently strong methodology which is given by artificial intelligence to elaborate and analyze the data. Before, insurance companies work on proxy data. So as I said, on categories. We have the categories of the smokers, the categories of those that had cancer and survive, the categories of those with diabetes, and the categories of the healthy ones. Now, we want to have individuals. So we want to be able to source data on an individual basis so that we have individual profiles and we can assess the risk person by person and being able to provide the right level of coverage at the pricing which is tailor-made on that specific person. Before, it's all about the settlement. So what typically an insurance company does, you buy a policy, some events occurred, you have a damage, you have a cost, you claim to the company pays you. This process is very old, it's very complicated. It creates a conflict of interest between the company and the policyholders because the company will always try to reduce the payments, to pay late, the clients will be upset, they start feeling that the company has been cheating them. Now, we want to go from this to a problem solution. So we want to make sure that we don't really work to pay back the damage or to repay the policyholders when some events occur. We want to make sure that we can anticipate events and we want to help the life of the policyholder so that the damage will never occur. Or if it occurs rarely and the damage is paid instantaneously because we exactly know what's happening in real time. Conclusions, and I think timing is good. So we say D-Day is S-Day. S-Day stays for settlement. A customer really evaluates insurance company only when an event which requires settlement occurs. You don't know if your insurance company is good or not until something happens, and you'll see if they pay or not, if they pay on time or not. Time is money. Timing and precision in solving the problem and paying the customer are really essential. Always with you, as I said, connectivity is important. Simpler is better. We want to walk away from these very complicated and cumbersome paper processes and try to make a very easy onboarding process and settlement or helping the client's process. Whatever is not that way undermines the trust and create again this lack of trust in the insurance companies. Last, as I said, one for each. So we'll soon see the end of standard-side policies, and we'll see more and more, same way as individual medicines or individual pharmacies, we'll see also individual policies. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope it wasn't too boring.